Hi, welcome to the Modern Renaissance Man Show. I'm in Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. Glad you could join us tonight on whatever station we happen to be showing here on a Friday night, probably still at 8:30 p.m. One of the things that I've been thinking of again is another way to help the government get money, maybe for the welfare system or some different ways to get their coffers full that makes it fun for the people to help do that. Space Shuttle Lottery. Recently, we were, last year in 2007, we were down at Kennedy Space Center, and it sort of occurred to me, I would love to buy a raffle ticket to ride on the space shuttle. I wonder how many thousands, maybe millions, probably millions of other people who would spend a couple bucks at a chance to go up in the space shuttle. It'd be an easy thing. They got all that room, stick in one extra seat, go up for a few days in space. Think about it. They could probably generate millions of dollars in revenue. There's some, maybe, have to sign a waiver, that if something happened, they got, explosion or whatever, that they wouldn't hold the government liable. But the whole idea is that we generate some fun and some funds. Space Shuttle Lottery. Think about it. I think we need to get some progressive, visionary politicians to come up with some creative ways. We need some more excitement in this country with regard to where the future is going for our country. Because things like the next topic disturb me. Shell gas. I watched the Shell gas commercial the other night, and they're offering a new gas credit card. Basically one I think you can use other places. And to entice you into using it, they're offering gas rebates. So the more you use your card, you get more rebates. Well, Shell, why don't we just lower the price of gas? No, this is sort of a scam. You got Shell not only getting you for the gas purchases, they're getting you for the 19 to 23% interest that you're charging on this credit card now. I think something ought to be stopped about this. This is taking advantage of people. They'll be going into major debt they'll never recover from just to buy gas at these high prices. Speaking of vehicles, grocery stores, here's a little pet peeve for me. Buggy crimes. Shopping cart buggies. Basically what I've noticed is that you'll come out to your car after being in the store, there's a buggy parked right up beside your car. Easily roll into it, hit it. People can't walk over, just put them in the rack. Is it that big of a deal? Instead they want to take the chance. And I've had my car hit by buggies left like that. Even worse, now these are the people that are really criminal in a way. People who are in front of you in a line checking out, they empty their buggy and they walk off and leave it right in front of you. Now, narcissism, rampant. They expect you to go ahead and take care of their buggy for them because there's nobody working there on that side of the counter. So you have to move the buggy away to get your stuff up on the counter. Come on, people, put your buggies up after you've been shopping. Latest craze these days that we're seeing a lot on TV that really concerns me is the cell phone text messaging, texting. I really get annoyed with the little girl who's talking to her mother in this chit-chat text type of dialect. I don't find it cute. I find it very disturbing. A few years ago, we talked about the problems associated with chat rooms and how addictive they were. Well, now instead of chat rooms and chatting, we have texting. So I guess what? These people are sending messages they want to make sure nobody else hears. What's the craze on this? It really disturbs me. I think we ought to particularly watch our children on texting. It sounds like I'm getting on the soapbox. Well, I think I will. The topic I want to talk tonight about is Mideast culture. I hear commentators say, basically, like I talked in a previous show, I believe it was, about the woman who got 15 days in jail for how she named her teddy bear, that we don't understand the fundamentalist Mideast culture. Statements like this, though, to say we don't understand, are often used to rationalize immoral or just bad behavior. I heard those statements rationalizing years ago Saddam Hussein as he was killing babies. This is manure to say we don't understand the culture. Take a look around the U.S. We're full of fundamentalist fanatics. Some are more sick than some of the Mideast stuff. Often, Christian extremists want others' rights denied. It's Jesus or the highway. Often, Judaism wants Christian rights quieted because there was no Messiah. And besides, Jews are the chosen people. Many U.S. Islamic groups basically say believe in the Quran or die. Atheists say there is no God. You can't make them have faith. The KKK, unfortunately, that still exists, says you're only right if you're white. The NAACP cares about all people, but they only seem to want to defend blacks. The U.S. is no different from Middle East fundamentalists. Democracy is best at the cost of others' lives. For peace, so they say. Fundamentalists are everywhere. Fundamentalism is everywhere. We are not alike. Yes, we are. People, we're all alike. I believe working the 12 steps is the best way to live. Of course, fundamentally speaking. And that's the way I feel. And with that, fundamentally, we don't have a band tonight, so I'm going to dub in some music so you can enjoy some good tunes while I wind down off another soapbox. It'll probably be Dorn and Anna, who's been with me now for about 9 months, going on a year, and enjoy the tunes, and I'll be back in just a moment.
Thoughts running through my head, don't know what to do with them. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking of you at all. Slip away, my mind slips away in time. Grasp a moment from the past and I laugh, trying to make it last. Dreams I dream of dreams seem to wish up to. Then I wake with mistakes of what I'll do today. Will I run? Will I take what comes with no regrets? Or will I just sit with my head full of fantasies? Slip away again. My mind slips away, my friend. Wishing you were by my side to hold me now, to squeeze me right. But stop! This isn't a love song, or is it? Falling over the edge with a bit of help as I try to pull myself back together. Will a friend throw a rope if I try to jump? Will I fall in love anyway? I'm so over the edge. I'm over the top, falling in circles. I can't make it stop. I'm spinning around as you grab my hand. I'm on safe ground.
Well, those are some excellent tunes. Glad you stayed with us. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Dorn and Anna. I had the flu tonight, couldn't make it, so I just had to go ahead and go to the editing room and slap some in there because I wanted you to enjoy the great songs that we get from them. Movie reviews. I brought in another film here. Now this one here to me is not a sleeper. This is an old-time favorite. Because when I think of merriment as necessity. See if we can get a shot on this. Dean, can you get a shot here on this? I don't know if you can pick this enough. This comes from the Charlotte Public Library, Mecklenburg Public Library, of course. Escape from New York. This to me, it's a John Carpenter film. John Carpenter was a neat guy. And basically with this movie here, you got an interesting film of how New York City was turned into a prison. Wonderful movie. It basically stars Kurt Russell, which I think is one of the neatest adventure actors has been around. He's actually a really fun guy. Likes to do fun movies. That's why he does Escape from New York. This is a merriment film, and I think you'll enjoy it. If not, send me an email. Escape from New York. Go to the public library. The price is great unless you're late. Get your movies there. And if you don't like the movies, excuse me, I'm itching here. Just blame George. We blame him for the weather. We blame him because our spouses aren't doing what we want. We blame him because the children aren't going to bed. And we'll just blame George. Or maybe if this is a rerun that you're watching, we'll blame the next president because we can. Send me some email, mrm@together.net. Or you can check out the website, www.mrmtv.org. And you can see what's going on with the show. Send us some notes, make some comments. We still haven't got the Modern Renaissance Man airplane yet, and we may never will. But we do have the Modern Renaissance Man mobile. A little Capri from Australia. It's a little car I'm rebuilding. We've got some project shows coming on about it. So we got a neat little sports car, and it's no longer made. They quit making them 94, so don't even go looking for it. But I'm rebuilding it, and you'll probably see a project show about that and some other things. We also got a Kennedy Space Center special coming up in this year. I'm not sure what time, but should be airing sometime in 2008. The light rail links, yay! Let's clap for the new light rail system that we finally got in place. Yes, the light rail, and I understand that it is actually already on the books that Mayor McCrory wants to see that it's widened so that we can have bicycle lanes put on each side of the tracks. So that'll be a new expansion project for the Lynx light rail. Anyway, with all of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out a special person, that a worldly gentleman that I enjoy talking to and I learn a lot from. TonyHodgeson, come on out, sir. Yeah. All right, thanks, sir.
Hey, man, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that intrigues me about Tony is he sort of reminds me at times to have a conscience. When we have discussions. He's a person who's worldly, a person who's knowledgeable, respectful of other people, whether they may deserve it or not. And I've always enjoyed talking to him because of worldly experiences. Anyway, I don't tell Tony ahead of time what the questions are. So we just sort of throw out some topics here because I love to have the discussions because I know he's going to have a great opinion that I'd like to hear. So I'm going to jump into something really esoteric with you tonight. Okay. What has happened to the spirituality in America? Where do you think it's at? What do you think is the problems? I think there's some problems. What do you think?
Well, I think Scripture says you can't love God and money, okay? And it also says love of money is the root of all evil. And capitalism is the god of America right now.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the short time that I've been in the United States, I've seen capitalism grow where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And as people get more and more money, they seem to lose concern about other people. I notice it in myself. So I know if it happens to me, it happens to you, and it happens to, these people that are earning thousands of times more than what the average worker is. You see the pay of the top executives growing higher and higher and higher. And so that's what's happening in America, and I think people are losing the values. Real America I see still in the countryside. When I travel through the poorer areas, I see the old America.
Well, it's sort of thing. I know something for me that I sort of a mantra I try to remind myself daily is it's a gratitude kind of mantra, is what I say. Is that be grateful that my needs are met, and that my frustrations are because of my wants, and keep that in check. Of be thankful that the needs are met, because, like you said, there's so many people that don't have basic needs getting met.
The more we have, the more we need. I don't know whether you notice that, but the basic needs become not quite basic when we start moving up in income levels.
Well, I remember...
the 2,000 square foot house is no longer what we need. We need a 5,000 square foot, and then the 5,000 square foot becomes a 10,000 square foot, and bigger and bigger, and it's all competing, because we see ourselves as valuable only if we have assets. Stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's all a false god.
So what do you think is keeping the rural areas more in check?
Well, I think by the very nature, the farming community is shrinking in America. There's less wealth there, and they have to depend on basic needs. And if you go to countries like Africa, where things are really poor, you find people are closer to, quote, God for their needs, for their spiritual needs, for their health needs, for everything, than us in America who rely on
you think
money
is there a direct relationship there with the poor countries, possibly a lot more spirituality than...
Absolutely.
Is it?
Absolutely. Christianity is growing where there is poverty and the oppression.
You think people in America are, particularly I guess in the urban areas, are just giving up? And not just the money, just like they've just lost any kind of faith and hope?
No, I think in the urban areas, I think people are looking to things to make them happy. And the more things they have, the less happy they are. The more working, And I think people eventually realize when they get to the top of their career, it's really not what they want.
Well, I find it interesting. Some of the most, affluent corporate leaders. It's always interesting that when they get to a certain point and they retire, all of a sudden they become philanthropists. And the thing that I guess disturbs me was Neutron Jack. He was over at GE, became one, and one of the things that I think he was in denial about was in a book I read that he wrote. It was like 38 Steps in regard to business. He basically said he didn't understand why people didn't like him. And in the chapter before that, he mentioned he's laying off close to 500,000 people. I'm like, okay, I'm glad you're getting in touch with yourself, but don't expect people to like you now just because now you've turned a new leaf, and you still have your millions in the bank, and these people may have lost, their homes, and found themselves in major difficulties. But yeah, that seems to be sort of a thread there a lot of times. It'd be nice if we could get to it, or people could get to it. without causing so much damage
Right.
on the way up.
Right. Well, I think capitalism, the business of business is to make a profit. Okay?
Now, Tony's visited lots of different countries. Of the countries you visited, what would you say you think is probably the most spiritual? Can you come up with one? As a country, because I know that's big to do with it.
I think the country that's the most spiritual is still the United States.
Really?
Yes.
And that surprises me. With the
third
world.
When you look at Europe today, it's almost, spirituality is almost dead.
Wow.
In England,
Mm-hmm.
the church is way down, the attendance is way down, crime is way up. America is still a very spiritual country.
One of the where I actually met Tony was at an interesting Episcopal church that we both go to, and quite a little different from the norm. And maybe that's where the church needs to evolve, like this one is working to.
Right.
To get the message to people, have faith, have hope.
Right.
There's a higher power that cares about us all.
Exactly.
Well, let me throw a different topic at you. We'll change gears here. We're basically airing in January 2008, probably the latter part, 1st of February, something like that. Presidential candidates. Who's your favorite? Who's worth voting for? Who's not even worth thinking about, in your opinion?
My favorite right now, and he seems to be totally different than any of the other candidates, is Mike Huckabee, the Republican candidate. He seems to be able to take any question and answer it from his heart. Almost all the other candidates seem to have a programmed response to any question. They've got handlers, they've got people that bounce questions off them, and they come up with the right approaches, and they take polls and find out which way is the right way to frame the answer. But Mike Huckabee seems to me to be the most refreshing person, in that he seems to be honest about his answers.
I don't know a lot about him. I got to do something we didn't do last show, and we're already at the end. This is called the host cam. And it's something we introduced, or claim to have introduced, on this show, and see if it actually works. And maybe the dead host cam, and see how that goes. Well, it beeps. Nope. But, what we do is about 2 years ago, wasn't it, Dean? Something like that. We introduced this, and what we do. What was that?
First in the world.
First of the world. Anyway, we claim to have invented the host cam. And so we show it, and there's Tony up close.
There we go.
In strange colors, because the camera takes things. We have lost the best girl. We lost the green room manager. We got Dean's sweet niece sitting over there hanging in with us. Dean back in the control room. Didn't see you, Dean. There you go. Thanks, Dean. All right, the host cam.
Yeah.
Usually we shoot it with the band, but the band is normally sitting over there, and they're not there. But anyway, that's the host cam. We've had people that have copied us that said they've had cameras since we did it. But
Can I ask you a question?
shoot, go for it.
Who is your favorite candidate?
My favorite candidate is somebody who's not going to get elected, and that's Joseph Biden.
Okay.
Biden has I see similar features in him to what you're describing about Huckabee. I know that family is very important for him. I know he rides the train back and forth to where to be with his sons. His wife died, I think, right before he got elected, or right after he got elected to the Senate. I think he's an impressive man. He doesn't seem to be a stabber on stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think he will get elected. But he has a set of values that I think would do good in that seat.
Yeah.
Particularly, I think for me, he's the only Democrat candidate.
So are you saying that most Americans can be easily fooled by the politician?
I think a lot of squeaky wheel type of thing happens. You know, that the candidate gets the loud voice can sell somebody a bill of goods at times. You know, I hate to say that, but you know, it's the same as people who bought all these arms thinking they were getting a panacea of a mortgage.
Right.
You know, and
you remember what Winston Churchill said about Republicans and Democrats?
Not off the top of my head.
You want me to tell you?
Go ahead, go for it. We got a little bit of time here. We got to wrap up.
I always tell my kids this when they were young. In England, the Republicans were Tories, and the Democrats were Labour. And he used to say, when I was a young man, I used to be a socialist or Labour. And when you're young, you're not a socialist. You don't have a heart. However, as you age, if you're not a Tory or a Republican, you don't have a brain.
And with that, I'm going to run out on the brain issue here. Tony, thanks a lot for being here.
You're welcome.
Pleasure. I love talking to you.
Okay.
In closing, I always want to thank the crew. Without them, this show would not happen. Dean Smart, director tonight. Thanks, Dean, for doing the show. The camera people. Green room manager Jennifer, Kate S. Copeland, who was here earlier and has gone home to crash so she can go to school tomorrow. Best girl, Roman host cam operator. Glad she was here. And then watch for her on some of the blurb shows and specials she helps co-host. Remember the website. You can email me at mrm@together.net. Website is www.mrmtv.org. I'm trying to remember that. I've been Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. Hopefully the band will be feeling better, and at the next time we shoot, you won't see edited type of stuff. Glad you could join us. Have a great evening. Happy New Year again.
Swap seats?
Sure.
You have to
I'm
say
not
you're the
talking.
modest. You're not going to talk?
No, you're talking. Get the camera on him.
No, you need to put it on her.
Oh no, do not put it on me.
Okay.
Take the camera off me.
This will be fun.
Dan!
Go ahead, switch. We'll pick her up in a minute.
You mean if I don't hide under the desk?
Oh, that's right. Just stay there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the musical special.